Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another in the series Creating Culture. I am Georgette McGlashan Miller, Education Outreach Officer at the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, Jamaica Memory Bank. And today we have as our guest our own research officer, Mukhtar Hutchinson. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Mukhtar. Mukhtar, as I said, is a research officer at the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, Jamaica Memory Bank, and holds a degree in history from the University of the West Indies. He's passionate about Jamaican heritage and storytelling. He enjoys traveling and connecting with people through their cultural expressions and traditions. Mukhtar previously served as a cultural ambassador to Jamaica through language instruction in Japan for over 5 years, where he facilitated exposure to Jamaican culture and built meaningful connections through education and communication. Mukhtar loves a good book and is always eager to discover new ideas and perspectives. He enjoys engaging with and conducting interviews among the ICH communities, documenting their stories and preserving Jamaican cultural heritage. Please help me to welcome Mr. Hutchinson.
Thank you, Georgette, for your kind introduction. It's truly a pleasure to be here and to have the opportunity to present on my topic today.
Go ahead.
So I want to start off by reflecting on when I was growing up in Jamaica. And it was common to see donkey carts and woven baskets sold in the markets and used by my grandparents. It was used in their everyday life, right? And basket weaving was not just only a simple craft, it was part of the landscape and the reflection of our culture. However, over time, you notice that there you could see the decline in woven baskets, the visibility of it, and these traditions. So while conducting an interview with a basket weaving practitioner, as a part of my research, my interest in the craft reignited. Listening to him share his knowledge and experience reminded me that basket weaving is much more than producing a functional object. It carries stories of heritage, creativity, resilience, and identity. That experience inspired me to explore this topic further. So let's get into the discussion today. My topic, Jamaica basket weaving, tradition, adaptation, and continuity, will focus on three main aspects. So first, heritage and tradition, examining how weaving skills were learned, practiced, and valued. And second, modern transformation, looking at how contemporary artisans reimagine basket weaving through modern design, home decor, and fashion. And finally, cultural survival, considering why it is important to preserve these skills by passing them on to younger generations and integrating them into Jamaica's creative industries. We will also be viewing a Jamaica Memory Bank interview with Mr. Evron White, a basket weaver from the Maroon community in Moortown, Portland. This will help us to gain a deeper appreciation of basket weaving, not only as a traditional craft, but as a living cultural practice that continues to evolve while remaining rooted in Jamaican heritage. So let's jump right in and look briefly at the history of weaving in Jamaica. All right. So looking at the heritage of basket weaving in Jamaica, it is important to note that weaving is one of the oldest crafts in human history. Long before factories and machines, people learned to take natural fibers and weave them together to create basket mats and other everyday items that were both practical and beautiful. Growing up in Jamaica, seeing woven baskets wasn't unusual. They were sold in markets, used at homes, and formed a part of everyday rural life. But these baskets represented much more than a way of carrying goods. They reflected the skills, the creativity, the traditions of families passed down from one generation to the next. In many rural communities, basket weaving also provided an important source of income simultaneously preserving a unique part of Jamaica's cultural identity. However, these traditions face new challenges, such as mass-produced products that are often cheaper or more accessible, fewer young people are learning the craft, and environmental changes have also affected the natural materials used by these practitioners. So this raises an important question. How can traditional basket weaving survive and remain relevant in modern Jamaica? To help answer this question, let's hear directly from an active weaving practitioner in this Jamaica Memory Bank interview. Mr. Everon White explains how he first got introduced and became involved in weaving craft. So as you watch, listen to how he shares his story that reflects the importance of family, observation, and hands-on learning in keeping this tradition alive. How did you first learn the art of basket weaving?
It's like a family thing, you know.
Yeah.
And my father always did, like the people have to feed. We never got plastic back then, like now. I talk about way back in the 70s. See? So, grew up seeing them do it. To me, it was just a hobby. Craft was not a business back then when we were doing it. It was just seeing them do it, excited about it, want to do it too. So, you know, this how me still. When a person do something with hand, me feel so me supposed to do it. So, me see me do it, then now me get more jealous when me see my brother or me father do it. So me say, well, me have to do it too. So, you know, seeing them do it, me start to do it. Me take it to the highest part because me teach it. So, we cannot take it from them. Everybody pop up the foot for me. So,
Interesting. So it'll be like a family.
yes.
Yes. Trade or skill.
Yes.
And so at what age was that when you started beginning?
Well, 14.
14? Yeah.
I never left school yet. I never left primary school yet.
This is what researchers describe the intergenerational knowledge transmission is, the passing on of knowledge, skills, and cultural traditions from one generation to another through observation, participation, rather than formal education. In Jamaica, other rural communities, for example, St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, and Portland, this has been a traditional way of passing on basket weaving and how it has survived for generations. Families become the classroom. So today, while some families may continue this tradition, community centers and cultural workshops and heritage events also help introduce younger generations to basket weaving. These initiatives definitely play an important role in ensuring that this craft continues to evolve rather than disappear. Understanding how these skills have been passed down helps us appreciate the basket weaving is more than just making baskets. It is about preserving history, identity, and the culture for the future generations. Something that must be highlighted as well is that traditional Jamaican basket weaving has a close relationship to the natural environment. Rather than relying on manufactured materials, weavers are traditionally using plants and fibers that are readily available around them. So depending on the community, these may include, as you can see, bamboo, rose apple, wicker, and hook. So experienced weavers understand which plants produce the strongest baskets, when they should be harvested, and why the fibers need to be prepared before weaving begins. So let's return to the JMB interview, where as you watch, Mr. White explains where he gets his material and how he treats his knowledge of these natural materials. So how do you typically source your materials?
You never put them in. Bamboo, wicker, hook. I never put them in.
So it just depends on the environment.
Yeah, and you know, if you want a hook, me have to buy that because you wouldn't have for me environment just so me have a person where me teach him what I want, directly teach him show him what I want. Because I know that's what cut up so. Tell him the time, that I have to cut upon a specific time. Show him how I want him to reap it for me, when I want him to reap it for me, what it look like when I reap it for me. So when I want it, we can just call him, harvest it, and go pick it up. And we can make that little part easier for me than me have to look at myself.
Okay, so where exactly would you?
In Portland, you know.
What area?
Like Winter Forest, you will find this material when you want, like hook. You will find it in St. Mary too. You will find it in Buff Bay too. So it's in Portland, you know.
Oh, and what's when you say specific time? What you mean, like what time of the year?
Anything in a craft work, any craft person will really know craft work. It have a time when you reap your material. If you don't reap it that time, if you reap it after that time, trust me, you will make the stuff with it. But we will go and eat it.
Oh.
Trust me, it's not going to last you long. So we have a set time,
okay.
We reap all craft material, have them in a store, work with them. Get me? The moon give you 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, the moon goes back a dark. We look material for craft people, dark.
I see.
But the trick is, I only one dark night. So you have to know when.
I see. She specified ways and the time, the setting for it to be done. This is nothing that you can just learn in a classroom. It has to be passed on from generation onto the next generation. And this is how he is an expert at what he does, in understanding how to gather his material. So if these challenges continue without support, we risk losing not only the skill of basket weaving, but also the cultural knowledge and traditions that have been passed on from generations. Fortunately, Mr. White is finding new ways in keeping this alive. Let's explore the next section as we look at the modern transformation of Jamaica basket weaving. So, if you might be wondering whether basket weaving is slowly disappearing, the answer is not a simple yes or no. While there are encouraging examples of adaptation, there are also genuine concerns about the future. So, looking into modern transformation, one of the most interesting things about culture is that it doesn't survive by remaining exactly the same. It survives because people find new ways to make it meaningful in their own time. Basket weaving in Jamaica is a perfect example of this. Mr. White is currently the only basket weaver in Moortown, the Marine community in Portland. His work demonstrates that traditional weaving can adapt to the changing in these times. And at the same time, he also expressed concerns that fewer people are showing interest in, specifically younger people, in learning the craft. So while the tradition is evolving, its long-term future depends on whether the next generation chooses to carry this tradition on. So instead of producing only baskets, they were once used in everyday household tasks. He, as a craft person, has now created products that appeal to today's lifestyle. So, for example, the traditional weaving techniques are being used to create decorative home accessories, such as woven vases, laundry baskets, furniture, hammocks, fashion accessories like key holders, and picnic wedding baskets as well, and even artistic installations such as thatch roofs and buildings. His weaving techniques are used to produce these kind of products. So what is important is that while products may look different, the knowledge and techniques behind them remain rooted in the tradition. The craft hasn't lost its identity, it has simply found new ways to express it. This transformation has also created new opportunities. Today, woven products can reach customers far beyond local markets through cultural festivals, tourism, crafts exhibitions, and online platforms. As a result, basket weaving is no longer seen only as part part of Jamaica's heritage, but also as part of the country's creative economy, which can create opportunities for entrepreneurship, community development, and cultural tourism. So this leads me to another question. Can a traditional craft modernize? Can a traditional craft modernize without losing what makes it authentic? So interacting with Mr. White, I would say the answer is yes. Innovation doesn't mean abandoning tradition. It can take the form of introducing new designs, colors, and applications while preserving the skills and techniques that have been passed down through generations. As UNESCO reminds us, safeguarding heritage does not mean freezing traditions in time. Instead, it means allowing them to evolve while ensuring that knowledge and skills behind them continue to be passed on. So for approaching the final segment of the presentation, adaptation alone does not guarantee survival. If fewer young people choose to learn the craft, if communities stop valuing, or if local artisans aren't supported, even the most innovative traditions can disappear. So this brings us to perhaps the most important question from the presentation. How do we ensure that basket weaving doesn't just adapt, but continues to survive for future generations? Let's delve into its continuity and its survival. When we preserve this craft, we preserve generations of knowledge, community traditions, and an understanding of the natural environment that has been developed over hundreds of years. We also protect opportunities for local artisans to earn a living and contribute to Jamaica's cultural and creative industries. But preservation doesn't happen on its own. It requires people to value the craft, and one of the most effective ways to do this is through education, community workshops, cultural festivals, and school programs. These can introduce young people to basket weaving and give them opportunity to learn by doing, and just as previous generations also did. Digital technology also has an important role to play. Through documentaries, YouTube, social media, and online archives, traditional knowledge can reach audiences far beyond the communities where it first developed. These tools don't replace hands-on learning, but they can inspire interest and keep the traditions visible. Ultimately, the future of basket weaving depends on the interest from the Jamaican people, collaboration of the craftspeople, the families, the communities, cultural organizations, government agencies, and their role is to support in any or the many forms as possible, from heritage education and marketing assistance in creating these opportunities for artisans to showcase and sell their work. It's perhaps one of the simplest ways as individuals can help to support the people who continue to practice these traditions. During my research, I purchased one of Mr. White's crafts, and it gives an indication and a comfort to the craft person that their work is being valued, and that we can definitely encourage them to continue their craft. This is not a typical basket, rather it's a woven product, and it's actually a key holder. So when he introduced it to me, I had no idea what it was. It can be placed flat, or it can be hung by a hook or a nail in your wall, and you can place your, let me show an example. You can hang your, thank you, Jordan. Pen, your keys, let me see. You come home, I use it at home, and I definitely love it, to be honest. So my aim today is to show and egg on persons to support this craft. And in supporting this craft, it it gives the basket weavers the motivation to continue this tradition. So basket weaving tradition doesn't belong in museums or just in books. It is a living cultural practice that continues to evolve, and the challenge before us is not simply to preserve it as something from the past, but to ensure that it remains for future generation. It remains relevant, it's appreciated and passed on to the future generations. Traditions, and I leave this final thought with you. Traditions don't survive by standing still. They survive when people choose to learn them, support them, and carry them forward. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hutchinson. You know, when I saw your topic about Jamaica basket weaving, I'm like, what is going to be very interesting about this? But it's very interesting. It's a very good topic. And I have a few comments before I go to questions online. And I was just thinking about what Mr. White said about how he came by learning basket weaving and that he was just 14. And I'm thinking to myself, this could have only happened because of the family unit, the socializing,
Right.
and how people would socialize then versus now. I can think about my own household that you might go home and we're sitting in the living room, or we're sitting outside, but everybody's on a device.
Right. So back then, seeing his father, as he said,
In the 70s.
in the 70s doing basket weaving, and his brother engaged with the practice with his father as well, he became jealous. He wants to learn. He wants to be a part of.
Right.
And that's how he got introduced.
Yeah, so I noticed you speak a lot about intentionality, but on the side of youth. So like young people should be interested. And I know I've been in the communities and I know this is something that the practitioners would say or the experts would say. But I'm also aware that these communities have a different philosophy as it concerns knowledge, where you should be hungry for it and you should thirst for it. But you yourself said that culture changes. Culture is not static. So nowadays, I mean, yes, if you're interested in something, you'll go after it. But nowadays, our young people are not like that.
Right, and that is true. However, in speaking with him, it's not that they don't have young persons wanting to learn, but it's that it's not being promoted. It's not visible. So there are sometimes, they do transition from the community wanting to go to the city. However, it's a case that workshops or the setting is not being provided to have them be engaged.
Because you said at that time, the family became the classroom.
Right.
I remember that more than anything else. So the family becoming the classroom. So it would be, so we were at the Charlestown Maroon Conference recently. I think it's the 18th conference. And someone got up to speak and said that her grandmother would be the person from the community that made castor oil. And then her mother learned how to make castor oil. And when they realized that the grandmother was passing off, she learned how to do the castor oil, and then the daughter learned how to do the castor oil. I mean, it's not just in Jamaica, but most traditions have this, where whatever the family is doing, the children come to learn it, even if it doesn't become your profession. You know, I mean, even the Bible saw that Joseph was a carpenter, Jesus became a carpenter. You know, your father is a fisherman, you become a fisherman as well. But we see in our communities now where values and lifestyle change and the young people leave. And it's not just because a lot of them become bored or not interested in what the parents are doing, but the parents themselves, under the disguise of this word, better. You want better. So you leave the community and you leave without the skills, you leave without the intergenerational knowledge, you leave without your identity
Right.
almost to become something else that you perceive as better.
Right.
Let me set this before you comment. My personal upbringing. So my mother is a dressmaker. 5 girls. She didn't teach anybody to sew. One of my sisters learned how to sew, taught herself. She's doing it professionally now. I had to send myself to Garmex to learn how to sew.
Yeah.
Bought 2 machines. She's not teaching me. All my other sisters sew, but we don't do it professionally. And I'm thinking, Mom, you could have just started a factory.
Right.
We could be designers, fashion designers, anything else, no, but that was not encouraged. So under the disguise of better, a lot of these traditions die out.
That is true. Because what he also shared with me while conducting the interview is that he had some young persons with him, especially when given a task to build the building with the woven technique that he learned. They're learning. However, it's a case of they want to do it quick. It takes time. You need patience to do it. They are part of it, but once it gets too technical, it's like they're not too interested, or they don't want to take the time to learn it the proper way. But young people do have the interest. If it's around them, they see it making or some benefit to them. However, it's not capturing them to remain and learn.
I like when you say benefit. So I was having a conversation with a family member, and we were talking about the same thing about, carrying on a family business or doing something that can become profitable within the family. However, the point that was made is that if your family already exists in a successful business, you're already making money. It's not a problem for anybody to want to learn. They believe it will continue to generate money, so they're interested. But if you're struggling in the business, they're not seeing any income generation, you still have to be doing other things to make ends meet. People aren't interested. So you have to make the business look attractive and successful, or should I say, you have to be successful at the business for people to think that is a successful business. So in Jamaica, you have the traditional successful business, the lawyer, the doctor, the teacher.
Right.
So people go after these things. So that's
What
another
I
thing.
also want to add before going on, the basket weaving, say profession, it's not so much so you can have it as a full-time work, but it's a skill that can be learned. Nowadays, who has a full-time work? You have something on the side to generate additional income. So he also made reference to that, saying that it can grant an opportunity for persons to learning the craft at workshops. They too can help in preserving the tradition and make whatever product they want to make and have it as a side income. So a workshop is definitely in the making for us to basically
Okay.
capitalize on.
What are
those
your
interested.
thoughts about this becoming a part of school curricula? So, for example, in high school, we had art class, and there were certain pieces that were compulsory. You have to do a still life. You have to do this and that. What do you think about as a way of preservation, and how, like, the weavers themselves could be incorporated, because a lot of them aren't formally trained,
Right.
as you said, and it's hands-on in the community. How you see something like that being incorporated?
It is. It can be incorporated. However, I would say in extracurriculum activities,
Okay.
like clubs or so forth, because of the time constraints to produce a finished product. He mentioned to me about 3 or 4 hours it would take to produce a product and gathering the materials and all these things. So it can be implemented into the school system, but I would say more so in the extracurricular
Okay.
activities.
Okay. You spoke about innovation, and this is where I think that the basket weaving could be really successful in terms of innovation. I I see a lot of things being done, a lot of old things being used in new ways. For example, denim. You know, one in the fashion world, when denim, before denim was introduced to the fashion world, it was for manual laborers. It used to be work clothes. Now you have like denim being worn through
Right.
jeans for any occasion.
Right.
Last night I was looking on Pinterest and I see denim being used for wall art, making hair clips, hair decorations and stuff. But the wall art got me because I know that we were doing the basket thing. A lot of those things. I mean, personally, I'm not a basket person, but I grew up with a lot of baskets.
Right.
And we're not trying to bash anybody's business, but a lot of commercialized, mass-produced stuff, plastic,
Right.
and that's not very. It's not the best thing for the environment. Those are the things that have replaced things like baskets. So we would have that big closed basket in the bathroom. Now we have a big plastic basket.
Right.
You know, and they would argue that the plastic basket is more durable, but it's not better for the environment, you know. And then there's climate change. So a lot of these things don't last very long through the use that they were made for. So maybe if these basket weavers would reimagine what the basket could be used for, then innovation could set in.
Definitely, because even as you mentioned about the clothes basket, I saw some that he had made, and looking at it, you'd be surprised that the baskets last for very long, up to even 50 years, 20,
Wow.
30, 40, 50 years, yes.
So I guess it depends on the material.
Right, and the thing with basket weaving in this time, as we battle climate change and implications of the weather and stuff, having this relationship with the environments in using the natural materials to make the products, it would create a harmony in giving us the sense to take care of the environment, ensure that we have it replacing, replanting, using products that are not harming the environment. So basket weaving in adapting to everyday items in the household you would use. For example, again,
Yes.
this basket, the
key
key holder, instead of buying something online, plastic or whatever it may be. In having this, because I know it's
Environmentally
woven,
friendly.
right, environmentally friendly, it's actually durable, and you pay, as you mentioned, you pay for your quality. This is quality work. I want to take care of it. I want it to last as long as possible. You know, your mother would say, oh, this whatnot is older than you and so forth. I want to one day share that story with my kids, you know. So it gives value to the product, and if, you know, we take on the approach of basket weaving and adapting to the concerns of today, I think it can propel into something.
So it also brings to mind a paper I'm working on about climate, what is it, climate change,
Or climate future.
climate futures and people.
Right.
And they were talking about not just intergenerational knowledge, but indigenous knowledge and traditional ecological knowledge, and how this information is being passed on. I'm arguing that without children being a part of it, we don't have much of a future, climate change or not, because they will need the knowledge and know how to use that and apply that to go further.
Right.
So when you spoke about you showed the clip about the material that they use, the rose apple, the hook, and the straw and stuff. I thought to myself, I don't know how long the interview was, but I didn't hear about planting. Like, how do we replant to ensure that this material is there? He spoke about reaping, though, saying what was the right time to reap, and the moon gives you 3 weeks, and if you don't reap at the proper time, then the basket will rot.
Right. The
You know, weevil will
right.
eat up the basket. And I'm saying the workshops that we're going to have, we're going to pass on this knowledge, you know. But when do we plant? A lot of time we're not thinking about the raw material. We're thinking about the indigenous knowledge to know how to do it. But there's work behind this production as well.
You know, interesting as you mentioned that the natural plants that are used, they're grown wild. So
Wow.
yeah, they're all over Jamaica. So you know, Jamaica, flora and fauna, it's rich, and it's all over. So in terms of replanting, it grows itself, and there's a specific time for you to reap it, as we said, harvest it. So having this knowledge, knowing when and how to do it, is very important. So even if, for example, you encounter this presentation, you want to jump into weaving, it's not something you can just jump into. You have to be informed. You have to have an understanding of the knowledge in going about it. So workshops are very important, and sharing how you go about doing it. So replanting, yes, it's important. For a specific one, he mentioned rose apple.
Yeah.
It's endangered right now in terms of going near extinction. It's hard to find. Yeah, and it's very pliable, and it's a material that he loves. But he's saying he can't find it really in Portland. And this, he mentioned, was from Gilbert time. So
What?
that shows you, we need to be active. And the future of basket weaving and the continuation of it is at threat. So this knowledge needs to be passed on.
Because this is probably something to take up with the forestry department.
Definitely.
Because if it's grown wild, but I'm sure it must be something, because the fruit from the rose apple can be eaten. This must be something that you can replant as well. Because who to tell if they're not taking more than they're putting in?
Right. The rose
So that's
apple,
a part of the preservation as well.
I'm not sure if we can eat the rose apple, to be honest.
Not
That's
sure,
something
that's not the one?
Yeah, it can be eaten. Okay, so I'm not sure, but it can be eaten, as suggested by our producer. It can be eaten. However, as he said, it's something that's hard to find right now in Portland. I'm not sure for other places.
For the other parishes.
Right, but for Portland, yeah, it is.
Do we have any questions from online, producer? Okay, this is the CUG. So one of the final points I wanted to make, Mr. Hutchinson, is, I hope I don't get in any trouble. There is the philosophy about shop and business, where some people run shop and some people run business.
Right.
And in your presentation, you mentioned that a lot of people that are involved in basket weaving, they did not do it to make big incomes. I might be paraphrasing, but it didn't sound like an established business.
Right.
So maybe also how it is presented and how it is viewed would determine the uptake from the young people, or from anybody who is interested, because at the end of the day, we all need to survive, we all need to eat.
Right.
So the whole idea of if you are running a shop or if you're running a business, I don't know if you ever heard that before.
Right.
I don't want to call any race names or anything, but
Right.
some people run shop and some people run business. And in today's day and age, there are several ways to be competitive in the marketplace. I mean, promotion and marketing is always a big thing, but to reimagine your product and present it another way. There are some things that we've been using from your children that our parents were using and we're still using it. Some have been repackaged, some have been represented. So this may be something that the basket industry would have to do to become popular again. I know there's the idea of gift baskets, but the material of the basket have changed. Some of them aren't even baskets.
Right.
You have them on a platter or something, but people are still doing gift giving, So it's for them to reimagine themselves.
I believe so too. And at the same time, as you mentioned it, currently, he is approaching it as a business. That much I can say. And again, I am impressed by his work, because how he operates, he did learn the traditions of it, but he's very innovative and creative in how he produces products. And he made a statement to me, and paraphrase, he said, whatever you want, just present it to him and he'll make it.
Oh, so like there's a make to order.
Yeah, man, you can
Okay.
customize whatever, anything. If you want a bed, he'll produce a bed.
Okay, so I have a few questions online. I'm going to read two of them and you answer the ones you can.
All right.
I'm not sure if we answered this before. During your interview, did your interviewee indicate why the youth were not interested in learning the craft from his side? The youth that he was
Right. So
involved with.
two things. Yes, he said they weren't interested. However, his indication was that it's because it's not being presented to them, promoted. Whenever a workshop is called, or it's being done or held, the presence of the youths are there.
Oh,
Right. But to take it on themselves or seek it out, there is no interest towards it. But once it's on, the workshop is on, there's a presence of youths.
so maybe they need to do it in a group with management.
Right.
So they can't do it individually. So it's the business skills that are lacking.
Right.
All right, another question. Are artisans today creating baskets for the same purposes that they were historically being used for, or have the functions evolved?
I think it's a mixture because what you learned initially won't disappear. However, you want to generate money from it nonetheless, the skill that you have. So what they do, as I said, they adapt and they make items that are contemporary.
Okay.
Right. And even just to add to that, I remember we went on an outreach program with in Mandeville, Peace Corps.
Peace Corps.
Peace Corps, and we had some display, some basket weaving artifacts.
Oh, yes.
And the young fellow from America came over, like asked, "Where can I learn basket weaving? Where can I, be introduced to it?" At the time, I had no idea, right? So I couldn't direct him to where to go and to probably have a class or. Well, I could tell him to go to craft market and so forth, but he wanted to learn. So this could be an opportunity as well for organizations such as Peace Corps to have some days set apart for workshops for them to
So that their
experience.
students could come and learn.
Right, because
Definitely.
he was genuinely interested in it.
Okay, I have another question that says, was there any discussion concerning weaving and belief systems, subsequent implications of not adhering to the spiritual aspects that stems from the moon, right? So I guess this person is asking basically, was there any spiritual belief concerning basket weaving and the moon? Because we said that the moon give you 3 weeks,
Right.
and if you reap after that, the weaver would eat all the
Right.
stuff. Was there anything like that in the interview?
No discussion regarding that was had. However, based on his learning, I think that even if there was a concept behind that, I want to say washed away in a sense, because they learn from generation going on. It's an oral passing on of knowledge, right? So what would remain is the technique and the skills to conduct it.
Okay.
But the belief, I didn't explore it. It could do next time.
So one of the things I see coming up in my research about indigenous knowledge and for it to be longer lasting or to have more impact is a suggestion for indigenous knowledge to be mixed with scientific knowledge as a means of preservation. So when we, the government, go to the table, or when we go to make decisions or to create policies about what should be done based on our research, we speak with the people on the ground, the traditional people. So, when I was a child, grandma said don't pass this big stone because river will come down and wash away, because when the river come, it come this high.
Right.
And the tree is there, so you don't pick from the tree at that time. So when you're ready now to give weather warnings and stuff, the science get mixed with that, and they use the both of them together, how the experts know how to do it. So I'm wondering then if there is any modern, probably scientific thing that can be mixed with basket weaving to make it more contemporary then.
I believe it can be done. However, we need, or it should be discussed amongst the council of the Maroon community, specifically for Mr. White's community, Mukhtar.
Okay.
So definitely, because he really emphasized that this natural plant that he used for the natural material to make his baskets, it's hard to find. And he's been echoing this to the colonel.
He's been saying it.
Right, and
Okay.
it needs to be looked into. And for the relevant organizations to intervene and to work hand in hand with the
Like the
community, because
forestry
they are
department and Nepal
in
and
the
people like that.
environment. Right, they're in the environment, so they could get information from the
Okay.
community members.
I have two more questions. Kappa's daughter said that she reached. I guess you know who that is. The other question says, what can ordinary Jamaicans do to help ensure this tradition continues? What is the call to action?
The call to action is to get your own basket. Use it. To be honest, use it. They're going to be, in the future, hopefully. I'm really working on it to have a workshop be conducted for persons who have the interest, who wants to see Jamaica tradition passed on for the future generation. You don't want to see it in a picture, on a display to say, oh, this was once. You want to continue to see it thriving and adapting the continuity of this tradition. So you see Jamaican products, buy Jamaica, support Jamaica, build Jamaica, basically.
Yeah. And one of the things that Jamaican people like is to be in style and to be in the know. So if these things can become trendy, you know, like the use. So for example, I know handbags are a thing, and it's a certain demography in Jamaica that you see with straw bags. I have a friend, big up Colleen Douglas, that goes shopping with her bankra. Hello. You see Colleen step into the supermarket and she's not carrying a plastic bag, she's not carrying a paper bag. She has her double bowl bankra basket and she pick up her stuff and she cash them and she walk out. You know? So not everybody is that flamboyant and thing, but if we would inform the people about the uses, you know, and look at what's happening. It's like reggae music, it's like dancehall music. Look at what's happening in the society, translate, meet the people where they're at, make it functional,
Right.
and things like that. The final thing I see here, probably the elephant in the room, it's the commercialization. What implications are there for practitioners of authentic weaving versus commercialization? Someone asked that because I mentioned the plastic basket. I'm so glad I didn't call that company's name. The plastic basket versus the big woven basket that we would have for the laundry basket.
Right.
So what are those implications?
Well, as I think I mentioned it, that having the plastic, the not natural made materials being used, the environmental impacts it may have on the environment itself, and not being aware of these chemicals or whatever is being used, having it in the homes, and it's not, I would say, sustainable. So having the baskets present, having the natural materials being used, it is, I think, a way to combat, a way to be involved in contributing to sustainability.
Okay, of the environment. Because, you know, people are going to say that this is cheaper and,
True.
appear more durable, but you're talking about environmentally friendly
Right.
and health-wise.
Right. I don't know. I went back. Just to get back on track on the question, the appearance of durability versus these naturally made baskets or laundry baskets, they are durable. He would tell you that he makes stuff and it lasts for over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And we're talking about bamboo, we're talking about hook. It's very pliable. So it may seem fragile, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's able to bend and to take the patterns.
Oh,
Yeah, it's able to handle the pressure of these things that you use it for. So they're strong and durable as well. So they're just as strong as any plastic stuff you buy, to be
so
honest.
I guess it's an educational campaign that we'll have to
Yes. And as I
venture
said,
on.
I mentioned this in some part of the interview that you want something to carry on. Again, mommy used to say, listen, this whatnot is older than you, take care, right? And, she'll get at you if you do anything to damage it. The fact that you spend on an item and it's, its value, you want to care it. Having something plastic or, cheaper, it's like, oh, I can get another one. So we keep
Yeah.
buying, we keep using. And again, and it goes back to sustainability, harming of the environment. We toss, we throw away. Even if the natural product gets damaged or needs to be thrown away, it's not harming the environment. So it's a consciousness thing as well.
Definitely.
Right.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. This was a very informative sharing about Jamaican basket weaving. And thank you, audience, for staying with us. I really hope that you learned something. Stay tuned for our information on when we will have our basket weaving workshop. Mr. Hutchinson is organizing. If you're not a part of our mailing list, please send us an email at info@acijjmb. Is that it, producer? Or you will see the correct email in running along the screen. The ACIJ, on its upcoming calendar, will be collaborating with the Colombian Embassy and the Center for Reparations at the UWI Mona to host a conference celebrating the emancipation of San Andres, and this will be on July 23rd. This information as well will be posted on our social media pages on Instagram, on X, on Facebook, and where else do we have that? Everywhere. All right, so thank you for staying with us again on Curating Culture, where we curate to educate. See you again next month for another informative session. Thank you.